Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Automotive Idiotics. If you remember last time when I did a video where it was just me, it was the first of our on-paper battle episodes. Now the special thing about those videos though was that we did them where it was going with the base model vehicle. That's how we were getting all of our numbers. We were comparing everything by the lowest cost model. Now the reason we decided to do that was simply because if you go through almost the entirety of the internet, pretty much everything is going to be, every review you see, every video you watch, they're all going to be based off of the high-end models, whether it's the very top tier or almost to the top tier, and that's obviously because the manufacturers want to give you, like, oh, well, if you go and give us the most money that you can, this is what you're getting. Well, not everyone can do that. If you're broke like we are here at Automotive Idiotics, you can't exactly go off buying the high-end model for everything. Um, so that does tend to change the numbers quite a bit on a number of vehicles. And in particular with the category that we talked about, the subcompact cars, it limited a lot of them on some of the options that came with them, in particular being body style. A lot of these vehicles, they were only offered as sedans when you go with the lowest end model. So I wanted to go ahead and give you a kind of a quick, little bit less formal video here just to show off the other side of that spectrum. So if you were to go with the highest end model, the highest cost model of each of the lineups of the subcompact car category, how do those numbers change? So of course, like I already said, a lot of these are going to be changing to hatchbacks instead of sedans, so that's primarily going to affect our fuel economy numbers and also the interior space on them. So last time, if you didn't get to tune in, number one, pause this video right now, go back and watch it. It's really good, not that I'm biased, but go back and watch it. It'll give you a really, really good contrast for the what I'm going to be talking about today. But if you are continuing to watch instead of going back and watching our other video, like you should be, spoilers, last time the Chevy Sonic was the one that came out on top. It came out with a total of 22 points. And in comparison, the Nissan Versa came out on the bottom, and it had a total of 44 points. So there was quite a bit of contrast here in this segment. However, though, when you start going through the high-end models, number one, the Kia Rio, the Nissan Versa, the Chevy Sonic, and the Ford Fiesta all changed to hatchbacks. The Hyundai Accent and the Toyota Yaris, both of those still stay as sedans. So there's not going to be a whole lot of change in the numbers of both of those vehicles, but because, let's see here, that was what, 4 out of the 7 vehicles that were not hatchbacks originally are now hatchbacks. So this is going to change the game quite a bit. However, though, when we start talking about price, first place is actually going to be the Kia Rio, in which case, if you compare that to last time, first place was actually the Nissan Versa. So that one comes out on top with the lowest cost, coming out at $16,490 for the highest cost model of the Kia Rio. On the flip side of that, the Honda Fit is the highest cost of all of the subcompact cars, and now when we go with the top tier model, you are sitting at $21,520. Now when we start running through the rest of the numbers, I'm just going to kind of give you the abridged version here, just because I don't want to make this video very long. But cargo capacity does change around a little bit from last time. Last time the vehicle had the largest cargo capacity for with all seats in place was the Honda Fit, of course, because at the time that was the only hatchback in the category. Now that multiple are hatchbacks, the Chevy Sonic actually comes out on top. That one is going to be sitting at 19 cubic feet. When you start talking about maximum cargo capacity, with the seats being able to be moved around a little bit, that one didn't change. Honda Fit stayed on top. That one, because of that Magic seat setup, it has a lot of room to work with, still sitting at 52.7 cubic feet. So not a whole lot changed on that category. But when we start jumping to fuel economy numbers, it does change a little bit as well. Last time, vehicle on top was the Toyota Yaris, and it still actually is the Toyota Yaris, but for some reason with the tuning in the engine and just the way the vehicle is set up on the high-end model for the Yaris, it jumps from 34 mpg on the base model to 35 mpg. Tank size, you're not really going to be seeing too much of a difference on tank size, just because they're not really going to go messing around throwing different tanks on the vehicles if they don't have to. It's just a matter of keeping the costs low for production. MPG range, though, does change slightly. Top on the MPG range, you are sitting again with that Toyota Yaris. It's just combined MPG is sitting on top, so it's no surprise that that one came out on top for the MPG range, which it did come out on top last time as well, with a MPG range of 394.4 miles out of a full tank of gas going off that combined MPG number. But this time it jumps up to 406 miles. So not a dramatic difference, but you get a few more miles. So what the heck? However, the horsepower does jump around quite a bit. Now, the main reason the horsepower jumps around is because, number one, in particular, the Ford Fiesta, when you go with the top tier model, you are now talking about the Ford Fiesta ST. Initially, I was debating quite a bit on whether or not to throw the ST into this, just because it throws it into a whole different bracket. But quite frankly, all these vehicles are so low cost that it's still just fit in very comparable with the rest of the vehicles. So that's why we had decided to leave it in there after consulting with the guys. So last time, when we were going with the just base models, the Chevy Sonic had come out on top for both horsepower and torque. It had 138 horse and 148 pounds of torque. Now, when we start jumping over to the high-end models, so that Ford Fiesta jumps up top, of course. Now, the Ford Fiesta now gets a 1.6-liter turbocharged engine, and that one actually produces 197 horse and 202 pounds of torque. So, obviously, it's a sports model. It's going to change quite a bit, but it definitely changes the game if you're looking for something sporty in that category. Turning circles, though, I know that's not the exciting one by any way, shape, or form. Basically didn't change. Of course, we're going to be including the link to the chart that we have made up here for all the data that we've collected at the bottom here, but the turning circles really haven't changed too much, and I know that's a boring part, so we're not even going to go over it. However, though, to just conclude everything for you, to give you a real good idea of what all is going on with this category, like I said, last time, the Chevy Sonic had come out on top for which one just had the best numbers. This time, it was the Kia Rio. Now, the Kia Rio last time, it had come in second, so it jumped up. It still held at 26 points in total, which is exactly what it got last time. This time around, though, the Nissan Versa, now this model, of course, is called the Nissan Versa Note, but it's nothing really noteworthy. But there is quite a bit of a point gap between the two of these. There is 26 points for the Kia Rio hatchback, but in second place is the Nissan Versa Note, and that's sitting at 33 points. And it is actually a tie between second place for the Nissan Versa Note and the Hyundai Accent. Now that one, of course, is a sedan still. Both of those are sitting at 33 points. This time around, though, last time the Ford Fiesta came in fifth place. Ford Fiesta ST actually comes in last, tying as well with the Honda Fit, which for a lot of people, including myself, would probably be a personal favorite out of this category, but I'm just a bit of a Honda fanboy. Not even going to deny it. There's my bias. Deal with it. But this is just going off of strictly numbers. We understand that there's a lot more things to be considered in these videos, but if we're just going to go strictly based off numbers, this is what comes out. But we wanted to make sure to give you the full perspective. Like I kept saying in our last video, full perspective for full perspective. Wanted to make sure to really give you full range on things. If you liked this section of things, let me know. Leave a comment, and we might keep on doing this in the future. Bye.